Hi, I'm Frank and welcome to my wood turning channel. Today I'm going to cut up some crotch pieces. These two are cherry and they're wet. And this is a piece of apple and it's actually dry and actually not cracked up too much. So I think I'll be able to get at that one right away. But these ones I'm going to have to rough turn them and leave them sort of an inch, inch and a quarter, inch and a half thick, coat them, and then let them dry and then return them. Okay, let's see what we get out of these. First thing I'm doing with these pieces is cutting off the extra lengths so that I get a nice sized crotch piece. So the first one I did, you can see, and then this large one here, the branch pieces are just a bit too large, so I'm just cutting them off. The next part of the cutting is now just to cut the crotch pieces right in half. This is the apple one, and I will do this exactly the same thing to both of the cherry pieces. This is the smaller one, and then I'll do the large one next. I can't get to these pieces right away, so I'm going to coat all of the ends with some end seal and then just put some plastic over it, and hopefully in the next week or two I can get to these. I'm going to rough turn these crotch pieces in two different ways. This first one, it's going to have the arms continue to be there, or the branches continue to be there. So the underside of the bowl will be just where I'm holding it there. And then the other one I'm going to turn around the other way, and it's going to be more of a typical heart-shaped crotch piece bowl. So let's start cutting this one up. I'm using a 3/4 inch bowl gouge to do the roughing out of this piece. And this is one of the wet pieces of cherry. So all I'm going to do is rough turn it to rough size, leaving it maybe 1.5 inches or so thick, maybe even a bit more because it's so large. And then I will put these wet pieces into the kiln. The dry pieces of apple I'm going to do at a separate time. This piece has a larger than 24-inch swing, so you can see I'm doing it on my bed extension on my Laguna, and that allows me to swing larger than 24 inches. This is some pretty heavy going wood turning because it's quite an interrupted cut. But fortunately the wood is wet, so you just take your time, do what you can, and over time it finally gets down to the size you're after. With this particular shape I'm doing, this will be the bottom of the piece, and the top of the piece will just be relatively flat with a small hole in the center that can be used. This shape can really be used more as a large charcuterie board or just a decorative piece. Now I'm moving on to the other half of the cherry piece, and in this case you can see I've cut it so that I can get more of a round shape, and this will be a heart-shaped bowl with the crotch wood in the bottom of the bowl. So it's turned around the other way, opposite to the way I did the previous one. To get a balanced look, it's important for me to try to get all the high spots of the outer edges all in line so that it looks fairly balanced when it's finished. What this does mean though is the back is very out of line, as you can see here. But that's okay. The important part is what does the top look like when it's finished. So I'm just going to continue to do the rough shaping, and really this is really just exactly the same as turning a live edge bowl now. And it's wet wood, so again I'm going to leave it thick and put it in my kiln and let it dry, and then return it after it's dry. From this view you get a little bit better idea of what the shape of it will look like. I'm just firming up or finishing up the tenon here so that I will be able to turn the piece around and do the inside. I'm just using my bowl gouge here to start the process of cutting out the inside of this piece. And what I noticed is that there's actually quite a lot of thickness here. So I think I'm going to decide to use my coring system and take at least one core out of here that I can save as an extra little piece. Probably won't have the crotch figure in the bottom, but it'll still have that sort of heart-shaped bowl look with the three sides. And now here you can see me taking the core out. And as I mentioned, I'm just going to take one core out of here. And that's good enough to save a piece out of here. I have to do a little bit of fiddling to get that core out of there, but eventually with a little bit of work I was able to just keep at it and get it out of there. Now I'm going to take this down to the final consistent thickness. Well, at least a roughing thickness all the way through, so it's consistent throughout. Again, it's probably 1.5 inches or maybe more. And here you can see the cord piece that I took out of there as well. So here you can see the heart-shaped bowl that people often refer to this as. And you can see that there was crotch figure in the center of the bowl, and there will be some on the bottom as well. Now that I have everything roughed out, I've coated everything with end seal, and I'll just let that end seal dry up just a little bit before I put this in my kiln. And you can see the two shapes. One's the heart-shaped bowl, and the other one is the more traditional Y-shaped figure. And I kind of like both types of shapes. Now I'm going to place all of these pieces into my homemade wood kiln, and it'll be in here for probably a couple of months. I don't have much else going on. And just as a reminder, my kiln is just heated with some light bulbs, and I have a little fan in there with holes in the top and bottom to let the air flow through. And that's it for this video. It's really just showing the roughing and the two different shapes. And then I will do another video where I do totally finish turn those two apple crotch pieces as well.